All right, today's class is going to be on two subjects, and that is the 5-number summary and the z-score. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull up an old question that's used a lot with the z-scores. Z-score LBJ versus Shaq. Eventually it'll come up. I don't know. Depends on when we get through with the material. Anybody else want to ask that question? I tell y'all, when we get through with the material, what will I do? Let's go over this again, okay? I'm in a very cynical mood this morning. Let's go over it again. What will I do when I get through with the test? Anybody want to remember what I told you the first day of class? I will do what? I will set a due date for homework. What will I do this? Will I do it at home or will I do it in front of the class? I will do it in front of the class, and I will also go over the what? The test. Didn't I tell y'all that the first day of class? Yes or no? And I also told y'all what else? I also told you to watch My Lab Plus. What does it tell you? It tells you the due dates. And it tells you when the test starts. Everybody got that? Now, write down this question. Right here. See it up there? Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson, among the presidents of the past century, or Shaquille O'Neal, among the players of the Boston Celtics team. Of course, that was a long time ago. I'm sorry. It's down here. This one. With the height, I don't know what this is, but I guess it's part of this. With the height of 75 inches, Lyndon Baines Johnson was the tallest president of the past century. With a height of 85 inches, Shaquille O'Neal was the tallest player of the Boston Celtics before he retired. Who is relatively taller? Okay, they give you the information on the next page. It says presidents of the past century have heights with a mean of 71 inches and a standard deviation of 2.1 inches. Basketball players for the Celtics have a height of a mean of 80 inches and a standard deviation of 3.3 inches. Are either of these group heights considered unusual compared to their group? Now, what is the qualifications for being a basketball player? Oh. Well, there's really not any qualification because Bud Webb was how tall? 5'5". So I think you have to be a non-felon. I think that's one thing. But is there any written, documented qualifications for being a basketball player? I don't know. Not really. Because LeBron James, he graduated high school. He never did go to college, did he? And other players didn't go to college, so it's not you have to go to college. Now, yes, if you're a 6-foot second grader or a 6-foot fifth grader or whatever, chances are the physical education coach is going to be telling you might want to go out to basketball. Why? Because you have an advantage, but it is not a requirement. Okay? What is qualifications for being president of the United States? You have to be over 35, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Born in the United States. Yeah. What else? Born in the United States, yeah. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger could not be.
That's not for a government.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You have to be born in the United States. You have to be 35. But is there a height requirement? No. Which president was in a wheelchair? FDR. Why? He had polio, so his height kind of changed. He was still 6 foot whatever or 5 foot whatever, but his height changed because he went from standing up to sitting down a lot. Okay? So there's no requirement for being a president, okay, as far as height. So Lyndon Baines Johnson was pretty much a big fish in a little pond. And what is Shaq? Little fish in a big pond. Because what is an advantage for you in the NBA? To be tall. So he is tall. I mean, Shaq is real tall. He's a big guy. But he's in a little pond because everybody else is what? 98% of the population in the NBA is what? Tall. Okay? Am I boring y'all? Okay, because some of y'all act like y'all are just bored out of y'all's skulls. Okay? Remember what I said the first day of class. If you don't want to be here, what? Leave. Everybody got that? Well, 2 or 3 of y'all are acting like y'all just hate to be here. And I don't want, if you don't want to be here, just get out. Now, the z-score. I'm comparing a president to a basketball player. So I'm comparing apples to what? Oranges. So can we do that? No. But on a universal scale, we can. And that's what a z-score is. So go out to the side of this question and put z-score is equal to universal scale. Leave me alone. Z-score is equal to universal scale. So we can compare apples to what? Oranges. Now the formula for the z-score, and I'll just put it right here where you can see it. Z-score is equal to x minus x bar over the standard deviation. Now, something else you need to know when you're doing a z-score. You remember your empirical rule that I told you to learn? Well, the empirical rule for the z-score is the same. It's got a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. So 95% falls between 2 standard deviations. And we call that what? Normal. What's outside 3 standard deviations? Or what's outside 2 standard deviations? Unusual. And what's outside 3 standard deviations? Which is your 6 foot second graders. Okay. So you're going to take this z-score, and after you calculate it, where are you going to plot it? You're going to plot it on here. And then you're going to be able to tell which one is relatively tall. Now, of course, any backwoods inbred redneck can tell you that Shaq is taller. Okay? But when you put the word relatively in front of it, that means compared to their own what? Population. Whoever said that. That's right. Okay? Population. So, calculate your z-score. Then I want you to plot it. And plot LBJ and Shaq on the same z-score. Plot it on the bell curve over there. So do that. Well, Georgia pulled it out. And Clemson, we won't even talk about that. And then South Carolina, we won't even talk about that either. So, who did Alabama whoop up on? They whooped up on a North Georgia Dallas Community College, didn't they? Did anybody play anybody this weekend? I don't think so. Well, hopefully the high school weekend is over. Cupcake weekend is over. Hopefully they'll play next week. But I don't think anybody's going to be Alabama. And I quit watching the NFL, so the NFL can go jump in a late ball field. So there's still movies. Have I seen good movies lately? What? I don't know who to side with on that. I mean, one part of me is glad that he did what he did. The other part of me is like, he went about it all the wrong way.
Well, I don't really, there's really not a lot of ways to
Yeah, that's true.
approach it. I mean, he did the documents, all the documents that he had, he organized it in folders, and he understood all of those. I didn't get to learn, I didn't think, I mean, he just waited to do enough hard to understand.
Yeah.
It's one of the arguments that we don't care, we don't understand.
Well, and the problem with the United States, one of our biggest problems is water's law. That's one of our biggest problems. We got a population of people that shouldn't procreate, much less vote, because of what you're saying. They don't have a freaking clue what's going on. What's your question, Holly?
What's X?
X is your actual shack height and LBJ's height. So you're going to have to compute a z-score for shack and LBJ. And of course, what is X bar? Your mean, and you're given the mean over there. And what is S? Standard deviation. So when you calculate those two, you're going to get two numbers. And you plot those on your handy-dandy curve. Doesn't matter. You plot them in the curve or plot them on line. It doesn't matter. What people usually do is draw a line, just like those lines, all the way up on the curve over there. Now, I always get the question, well, what if X is going to be negative? It's okay. Or what if it doesn't matter? It's on the other side. Students try to reinvent the wheel here, and if X is smaller than X bar, they turn it around to make it positive. I didn't say anything about turning anything around, all right? You plug it in where you plug it in. And if it comes out negative, so be it. If it comes out positive, so be it. Now, we put in the z-score for Shaq. And Shaq is 85 inches. And we're going to subtract, I'm looking for it, 80 inches. And that gives us 3.3 on the bottom. And somebody calculate that for me. 1.51 is good enough. Z-scores, and write this down, Z-scores are usually to the hundredths. They're usually rounded to the hundredths, 2 decimal places. So I'm going to take my handy dandy. Oh my gosh, we got on the bus. I'm sorry. We got on the trolley. I thought trolleys were electric. Well, they're not. I don't know trolleys electric. Then why do you call a bus a trolley? Oh yeah, I forgot we're in Charles.
You have like a trolley shape or a bus.
It's a bus. In Anderson, they're called buses. In Charleston, they're called trolleys. Anyway, we get on a trolley. And I'm sitting there, and my son's on this side, and my daughter's on this side, and this guy is sitting across from us. And he's talking to himself. And I mean he's talking to himself, like out loud. Like I could not figure out who he was talking to. Then he started answering himself. And my daughter just looked at me because she knew I was going to say something. So she looked at me and she hit my leg. And then he got off, and the woman that was sitting 2 seats over said he was just having a conversation with himself. I said, yes, he was. And he was answering himself too. He got off, and he was walking down the sidewalk, still talking to himself. Usually, in California, I got on the 505. I still remember the name of that bus. We used to get 505 to Oceanside and go back and forth to base, go back and forth. And there was a woman on there that chased butterflies on the bus. Where do these people come from? Aren't they supposed to be in like some kind of institution or something? And then there was the guy that thought he was Michael Jackson, and he was on the corner dancing like Michael Jackson. There was only one problem. He was white. White men can't dance, all right? And he couldn't dance like Michael Jackson. And he was all messed up. I think he was on meth or something. Huh? Yeah. Now, there was a guy, he was down there, he played the guitar, and he was doing good. But this guy, he didn't need to be dancing. And he sure didn't need to be dancing Michael Jackson. Oh, okay. Squirrel. So anyway, let's change this. Let's see if I can change this. Can I change this to, I thought I could change it to red. I guess I can't. Nope. Well, I'm gonna put a red box around this. How about that? And that means that my line 1.51 is going to go right here. That's the way you would plot it if you were plotting on a z-score. Okay? Now I take my handy dandy blue marker, and I don't know if I have enough room. Z for LBJ is equal to, everybody okay? Anybody need any pills or anything? All right. What is it? He's 75 inches. And we're going to subtract, I'm looking 71.5. And we're going to put that over 2.1. And somebody give me that score. 1.67 for those that are listening and not talking while I'm talking. Interaction means when I ask y'all a question, not while I'm talking. 1.67. I'm in a bitchy mood, I know. There it is. 1.67. So which one is further from 0? So LBJ is relatively taller. Why? Because he's a big fish in a little pond. All the other presidents are what? Vertically challenged. They're not as tall as he was. Now, of course, a lot of people don't know this, but W and Obama both are pretty tall. I don't know which one's taller, but I think probably they're taller than he was. I don't know. What is 75 inches? Is that 6'1" or 6'3"? I think both of them are pretty close. You wouldn't know that, but they're pretty tall. I'm trying to who else. No. Ronald Reagan, I don't think he was, I think he was like 6'1" or 6'2". So anyway, we'll have to find out. Somebody Google it right quick. Who's the tallest president?
Obama's just 6'1".
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I thought they were taller than that. Well, I guess LBJ is still the tallest president.
Well, technically, Abraham
Lincoln was eyes.
They were both 6'1".
I didn't know that. Okay, who was the shortest president? McKinley?
James Madison.
James Madison. Dadgum, my son's 5'4". All right, so do number 2. I'm gonna let you do number 2. And if you can't do it, just write it up as what? Being a failure. William McKinley was the shortest president of the last century with a height of 67 inches. Used the mean standard deviation, blah, 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 blah. Y'all realize that Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton died on the same day? I didn't know that. I watched on the History Channel the other night. They're talking about the Declaration of Independence. And they died within like 3 hours of each other. Yeah. I think Bush's fault. Everything's Bush's fault. No, you can't blame a Democrat. So did y'all Google what happened to Hillary and what she said this weekend? I'm deplorable. It really looked bad. Did y'all see that video? It really looked bad. I mean, I hate to see anybody like that. Not that I'm gonna vote for her or anything. Don't even get that in your head. I'm deplorable. You call Hillary stupid. Oh my. I don't think anybody called Hillary stupid except me, and I'm deplorable. Well, good. Look it up. One thing about my class, you will be educated in something. Yes. No, go right ahead.
I think that we should be able to just not like, we should just, if nobody votes for whoever.
It goes to Congress.
I think, no, I just think that we should just really know about this more than.
I have 2 things that I detest more than anything in the world. One is to be told who to vote for. And 2, I despise, I loathe where we're at right now, where you have to be a certain type person to run for president of the United States. You only have to be 35 years old, and you only have to be what you call it? Born in the USA. That's it. Just because somebody wants to run, don't trash them just because they want to run. Like the elites tried to do to Bernie Sanders. Well, they did do to Bernie Sanders. Well, they stacked the deck against Bernie Sanders, and that's wrong. They tried to do that to Trump, but he whooped not only 16 other persons' rear ends, he whooped the RNC's rear end. No, I think it was timing, and I think it's also the United States. The United States, the American people are sick of it. Bernie Sanders would have done the same thing, but he had to stack it. RNC didn't stack it as much as the DNC did. There was no way anybody was going to beat Hillary for the Democratic nomination.
There was recently, so they already had their side.
And if you watch those the emails, oh my gosh, the DNC trashes their people. But so did Lyndon Baines Johnson. Look up his famous quote. Look up Lyndon Baines Johnson's famous quotes. You'll see. Yes. Yeah, it's kind of like Water's World. Yeah. No, not today. We're not. No, I'm already late. One of the days that I'm early, we'll watch it, which will be like never. We'll watch it one day. All right, let's do this one, and we'll color this one dang old green or something.
I can't find anything about it.
Yeah, but because you're on Google, you're not gonna see it.
We gotta-
Go to something else and look up Hillary's video on passing out at 9/11. Yeah, Google censors everything negative about Hillary. They do. You could look up Hillary passing out, and on Bing it'll show up, and on Google it won't, or anything negative. Now that was on the news. That ain't from Hubert. That was on the news. All right, here we go. We're gonna find a spot. We'll just find it right here. Z-score of McKinley is 67 minus 71.5. Oh no, I need to turn it around. No, you don't. Over. Well, I just screwed that up. 2.1, it's over 2.1. And somebody give me that score. I'm sorry, I can't hear for all the people talking while I'm talking.
-2.14.
Thank you. Now, I got a question. Which one of these is unusual? There's 3 scores there. Which one is unusual? Good, because it's outside what? 2. How about LBJ and what's Shaq? They're normal. Okay? So, but the question didn't ask if they were normal. The question asked who is relatively taller. Now up here it says, are either of these heights considered unusual compared to the group? No, they are not unusual. But McKinley's is. Dang old, he's 9 years old height. Okay? For a president and a leader of the country, that would be a disadvantage. Y'all remember during the primaries, y'all watched the primaries, Jeb Bush, he would stand on his tiptoes when they took a picture of everybody. They caught him 2 or 3 times standing on his tiptoes. Why? He wanted to look like he was the tallest. These guys, these politicians are crazy. I could never be a politician. This guy is on national TV and he's standing on his tiptoes to try to get elected. You see how that turned out? Yeah, I stood on my tiptoes. He was the right's Hillary Clinton. He was supposed to be the presidential nominee. We'll see how that turned out. Anyway, who's got a question on the Z-score? You're going to have like 6 questions on the test from Z-scores. They're not going to be like this. They're going to be find the Z-score. And they give you 2 or 3 numbers and you find the Z-score. All you have to do is plug it into what? Do you need to turn anything around? No. If it's negative, it's negative. If it's positive, it's positive. And that's it. You might want to draw a bell curve in your notes, just if they ask you an unusual question or not. Okay? Yes?
Do you have to memorize the percentages on the output?
Yes, I would. You don't have to do it to make an A on the test or anything, but you need to do it for later on. 34, 34, 13.5, 13.5, and 2.5. And 2.5. And the reason you need to know that is because the 2.5 and 2.5 is equal to 5. And anything above, listen to this and write this down, anything above 5% or 0.05 is considered to be normal. Anything below 5% or 0.05 is considered to be what? Unusual. Sometimes they will ask you that question in the homework or the test, they'll say, is this unusual? And you'll go, how am I supposed to know? Well, if your percentage is below 0.05 or 5%, then it's unusual. If it's above 5% or 0.05, then it's normal. So you might want to highlight that along with your, and put to the side of that, put empirical rule. And empirical rule is on page what, 138? I think it is. Y'all check your notes because we talked about that. And I asked y'all what page it was on, and I think y'all said 138. Right now, what you will be tested on on the Unit 1 test. 1, 20% will come from Chapter 1 and 2. 80% will come from Chapter 3. 80% consists of finding the mean and standard deviation and whatever of data sets, meaning like test scores. Then find the mean and standard deviation of a what? Frequency distribution. Then be able to find a z-score. And the last thing is find the 5-number summary and the box plot of a set of data, which we're fixing to do right now. Now, I just gave y'all what the test is going to be on. So if I give y'all 10 questions, 8 of them is going to come from Chapter 3, which I just gave you what the questions were. Okay? But we'll go over that test Wednesday. We'll go over it. And chances are the test will be, see, I'm giving y'all ample. I do this with every test. We'll go over the test Wednesday. So that means the homework will probably end Wednesday. That means the test will probably start Wednesday. And that means it'll probably end what? Next Wednesday. We'll give y'all 5 to 7 days. I usually try to include a weekend. Okay? Now, a lot of y'all say, I can't believe this guy. Well, what am I doing? I'm taking away all your what? Excuses. Don't come in here next Wednesday and say, I had a flat tire, my grandmother died, and had a weak funeral, and I ain't logged on to My Labs Plus. Do you get a response from me? No. But there's 2 sides to every what? Now you see why if you ever meet somebody that's failed my class, now you see. Because I give you a week to take the test, and I'll even go over the test for you. And somebody will still make it 23. Those are the people that Korea won the Civil War and talk to themselves on the trolley. I still think a trolley is electric. All right, 5-number summary. I'm going to put I'm going to put a set of data up here, and I want y'all to find everything you know to find. Of course, that means mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, standard deviation. So here we go. And then I'm going to show you the 5-number summary. Yep. Good job. You listened that day. 75, 78, 80, 82. I'll even put it in order for you. 83, 85, 85, 85, 90, and 92. Now, find everything you can, and then I want you to draw a bell curve with mean and standard deviation, and I want you to go to 3 standard deviations. Three standard deviations, and I want you to label it normal, unusual, outlier. I'm working on a free class for my website. It's going to be called How to Use Your Calculator. This is for the people that's not on the calculator drill team in high school. So far, I've got 3 modules. And I'm going to try to cover as much as I can that's worthy. I'm not going to cover in there how to factor a trinomial with your calculator, because you don't need to know how to do that. You need to be doing that with your brain. So did you find out what happened to Hillary? Or did you find out why I'm deplorable? Which one is it?
Is it because, or you're a Trump follower?
Yeah.
She said all Trump followers are.
We're deplorable, we're racist, we're xenophobic, we're misogynistic, we're bigots,
Islamophobic.
Islamophobic. One of her nails in her coffin was that statement. You don't call half of America, or not half of America, a third, maybe a fourth of America, you don't call them names. Huh? Yeah.
A basket.
I'm deplorable. How are you? Now we've got things on Facebook. I posted one this morning. I said, it says deplorables for Trump 2016. And I posted it on my page. Just because you believe in somebody, you're deplorable. Yes, sir.
Did you watch the interview with her saying why she didn't know like her emails were classified, even though they had a C on them? She said like
I've seen everything that woman has said. She says she didn't know about that. She says she didn't do this. She said, I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know how to do this. I don't recall this. But vote for me for president because you need my experience. Well, hell, she can't remember anything. Would you, let me ask you a question. Would you hire a doctor to be your doctor that couldn't remember anything? Oh, let me make it even better, an accountant. Would you hire, let's say you were Bill Gates and you have all the money in the world, would you hire an accountant that couldn't remember anything or didn't recall or didn't know that red means in debt and black means in the black? I'll be your accountant. Yeah, I'll be your accountant. All right, finish it up. Y'all should be done by now. Calculator drill team already got finished. Now I'm going to do this on the handy dandy Excel spreadsheet. Am I doing it because I want you to learn how to use the spreadsheet? No, I'm doing it because it's quicker and it's easier to do on the board. That's why I'm doing it. It's so tired of, how does he expect us to learn Excel? Never said to learn Excel. All right, 75, 78, 80, 82, 83, 85, 85, 85, 852, 90, and 92. Okay, has everybody finished talking now? Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is go over here, and I hope y'all can see it, mean. And that's going to be the summation of all these numbers. Okay. Divided by what? I don't even know how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Divided by 10. Oh, there's a parenthesis in there. Divided by. I got 8. Okay, let's do that over. I got it wrong. Well, I know this. I know this is wrong. All right, I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna say summation and see if I can get it to read. There. I don't know why it wouldn't do that before. There, divided by 10 is 83.5. They don't have any other problems. Median. Now, what do we have to do for this median? Two middle terms. There we go. Average them. Equals parentheses, this guy plus this guy divided by 2. Mode, 85. Now, let me go over right quick for those people that didn't listen that day. What if you have 2 modes and they both show up 3 times? You write both of them down. What if you have 3 modes that show up 3 times? You write them all down. What if you have no mode? You put none, you put non-applicable, you put does not exist. Do not put 0. Range. What is the range? Mid-range. You're going to need this for the box plot on the 5-number summary. So make sure you highlight the mid-range for this problem that we're doing, because you're going to need it. Equals parentheses the highest plus the what? Divided by variance. We're going to have to go ahead and do our x minus x bar. So let's go over here, and this will be x minus x bar. That's going to be equal to this minus this F4. Copy down. And then x minus x bar, what? Quantity squared. Actually, it's quantity squared, not x bar. It's quantity squared. That's a different animal. And that's equal to this raised to the 2nd power. The summation of that. That is your variance numerator. So the variance is equal to that number divided by what? Minus 1, Hubert. That's right, class, which is 10 minus 1, which is 9. And we really don't care about the variance. All we care about is what? Standard deviation, which is equal to that number raised to the what? 0.5 power or 1/2 power or the square root. Now, you go over here and you put the mean in the middle. And what do you do on the right? No, not the standard deviation, door. Hold on. What do you do on the right side of the mean? You add the what? Standard deviation, Hubert. That's right, class. Everybody in here should be saying that. I don't know why y'all are acting like y'all on drugs or something. Now what do you do on the left? Subtract it. Make sure my numbers are right. That one's not. There's my curve. I'm going to do one more thing because I ain't got enough room. And you add all these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now, what is this? That's your empirical rule. Yes. Your normal whatever. Normal curve. Just take your handy dandy whiteboard. Now you need to get used to drawing this whenever you're doing data, or you're not going to do frequency distribution after this chapter. So, but whenever you find the mean and the standard deviation, it's always good to draw it out because they're going to ask you something about something being normal or something being unusual or whatever. So take your handy dandy highlighter, and the normal, as my daughter would call it, normal. Well, now she's in college. She don't say normal anymore. That's normal. 95% falls within 2 standard deviations. And then what? The unusual, we'll color it aqua color. Unusual falls between 2 and 3 standard deviations, which is 2.3% on both sides. And then the last one is what? Outliers. And the outliers are going to fall outside 3 standard deviations, and you're talking about 0.2% on each side. Now, let me go ahead and tell you this. Some empirical rules, I'm going to circle this in orange. Some empirical rules do not call this 2.3 and 0.2. They call the whole thing 2.5. All right, I'm just telling you this because you may look in one book and it may say this is 2.5% and this is 2.5%. Then you look in other books and it'll say this is 2.3 and this is 0.2. And this is 2.3 and this is 0.2. So you need to make that distinction, make that note, because sometimes you'll see it different in different books. All right, now what? Now we do the 5-number summary. Now, the 5-number summary consists of 5 numbers. Duh. Okay? Consists of the minimum, the first quartile, the second quartile, the third quartile, and the max. Now these have different names. First of all, the first quartile could also be called, anybody want to take a guess? The 25th percentile. Now, why do you need to know this? Because the book or the test or the whatever may call it quartile, may call it a percentile. And this one's also called the 50th percentile, or the second quartile is also called I saw that, y'all. I saw that. No. I'm supposed to act like other teachers. Oh, no, they're asked during office hours. She just ignored me. Are you married?
It is? Yes.
I knew it.
It is on this. Okay. Did the graph move? The bell curve move?
Yeah, I might have moved it. Yeah. I did something. I moved this over here.
The 83 is the center, right?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry. And if I try to move it back, it's going to cause Armageddon, so I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. All right. So 3 of these numbers, you don't even have to calculate because you've already what? You've already got them. You don't have to do them. So the lowest is right here. Your highest is right here. Now, I'm even going to make it even better for you. I'm going to color this one gray, and I'll color this one gray. I do all this stuff for y'all. Y'all should just, yeah, y'all should be very thankful. Y'all still gonna fail. All right. Median, we'll color, let's see, the median is right here. We'll color that blue. And that's equal to that number. Okay, well, where's the other 2 guys? Well, there's 2 ways to figure the quartiles. And I'm just going to show you the easiest way. Find the median of the median. Okay? Well, right now, where is the median? The median is blue, right? So I'm going to take my blue marker and I'm going to put a line right here. There's my median right there. It's between, well, I screwed that up. It's between the 2 numbers that you what? Averaged, Hubert. That's right, class. Thank you for the interaction. So the median, there's an arrow right there. The median is between those 2 numbers. So I want you to draw a line between those 2 numbers, and then I want you to count how many numbers you have above it. You don't need a calculator for that. How many? So what do you do if you want to find the median of 5 numbers? You just find the middle. 5 numbers, that's odd. So you just find the what? The middle one. So that would be what? 80. So we take our handy dandy highlighter. Well, let's take this one. And we're going to highlight that number. Dang old orange. And that's equal to 80. Now find the median of the top 5. What is it? 85. That's the easiest way to find it. Now if you want to go through and do all kinds of junk and try to make that difficult, then go ahead. I'm not going to tell you to use a formula when you can see it. All right. Now the formula is in the book and it's in the 5-number summary section. There's 2 formulas, and if I have time I'll pull it up, but I'm not going to test you on it, so I'm going to test you on you seeing the median. Okay? I have 4 minutes, y'all. Okay? So don't be rude. All right, so here is that number. And now what do? Well, now you draw your number line. Draw a number line. Y'all used to drawing those. And what goes in the bottom? 75. And what goes at the top? 92. What do you think goes in the middle? 84? No. Your mid-range, which is what? Okay, now is that always going to be? No. Your data's tight. If your data's tight, your mean, median, and your mid-range are going to be very what? Close. This data's tight, so 84 goes in the middle, but that's your mid-range. You need to make a note. This is your mid-range, not your median, because the mid-range basically is for the number line. Yeah, 84. I rounded up because on the number line you can round up and you can guesstimate because you're just finding location points. Okay? So find the middle here, 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 find the middle here. Now you should be able to do that by the mid-range of the mid-range of the mid-range. It's called interpolation. Just like I showed you finding the square root. Take the middle of the middle of the middle of the middle. So 75 to 84 is what? 9? Yes, Hubert. Half of 9 is 4.5. 5 added to that is 80. Or you can just find the mid-range, whatever you want to do. 5 added to that is 89. 89 plus 3, 89 to plus, that's 3, half, 1.5 is 90. What am I doing? I'm graduating my number line. Because you can't plot anything until you what? You graduate it. So what is this? 85, 86, let's see, 85, 2.5 is what? 86. 80, that's 82. And 75 to 80 is what? 577. Okay, now you can draw your box plot. What is your box plot? It's these three numbers right here. So, take your blue marker. And that's 84. Yep, that's data. That's pretty tight data. And then take your orange marker and put an 80 here. And put a 85 here. And your box plot looks like that. Which says a lot of your data is on the left-hand side. So that means it's skewed right just a little bit. Just a little bit. And that's how you do a box plot in a 5-number summary. And we'll do that again Wednesday when we go over the test because there's some on there. You're probably going to have 2 to 3 questions with mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, blah, blah, blah. You'll also have 2 or 3 questions of frequency distribution, mean and median, mean and standard deviation. You'll have 2 or 3 z-scores, and you'll have 2 or 3 of these. And we'll go over that when?